Any philosophers' lectures that I listen to on the regular? No way. No way in hell. No way would I do that. Lose my mind listening to anybody else talk about this stuff. I'd rather just get there. Here. Go insane when I would... No way. Not even books that people read. Have you ever read this? This is German from 200 years ago? No, I actually haven't. No, I haven't. No, and I never will. No. I don't even bother. I don't even bother reading anybody else's philosophy or lectures. I really don't even bother. What's the point? It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. No one's come to anything good in 300, 400, 500 years, 1,000 years. No one's come to anything even worth listening to. Nobody. Nobody. I don't believe that it's even worth reading philosophy. Or the philosophers. I actually am a firm believer that it's a waste of time. Not everyone likes that. Not everyone likes to hear that, but I really do. I do really feel like that. Hegel? Blood? Nah, waste of time. Hegel? Ziegel? It's a waste of time reading him. An absolute waste of time. Where has he gotten? Nowhere. Did he come to anything worthy of contemplation? Not one single idea. None of them have. None of them have. Not one single idea. You know? I mean, this doesn't... I mean, I'm not criticizing people that enjoy doing the philosophy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, hey, that's great. Me personally, I don't bother, and I just won't ever bother. If it's something theological, something mystic, maybe, but philosophy, straight up, however you want to describe it in a blanket term, an absolute waste of time, waste of life to read. None of the philosophers whose names are thrown around to cite certain things or whatever, or friggin' taught in classes, not one single one of them has ever gotten to anything good. Not one. It's all just fluff. Just wasted words. Just wasted words. I mean, that's just my opinion. It's just crap. You know, I mean, no one's saying that I'm above philosophy. I'm not saying that. I'm really not. I would just rather... If they teach it in school, I run away from it. Let me just put it that way. They teach it in school, I run away from it. People cite it for nothing, trying to display proofs of whatever the hell, some sort of society that would work, that's more just or whatever. It's a waste of time. I'd rather read the Bible. I'd rather read the Bible than read some German philosopher or some whatever the hell. I don't even know any of them. I'd rather get there on my own. I'd rather get there on my own. It's just you're reading it, you're just wasting time. You're getting filled with some guy's thoughts. He's on cocaine, he's a pervert. He's writing about how you wanna have sex with your mother. Excuse me? Excuse me? It's a waste of time. There's nothing good about being the average person. There's nothing good about that at all. It's actually nothing. Better off being freaking Mr. I don't know. The old classical quote there, it's hard to forgive others, but it's even harder to forgive yourself for your inability to forgive others. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. It's a prerequisite. Having the ability to forgive others it's something... Having the inability to do that, it's somehow tied to punishing yourself. It's somehow tied to punishing yourself. And you need to forgive yourself of the punishment or the sentence that you pass on yourself. And a lot of times it could be sort of subconscious. If you don't really have, if you're not exactly, if you don't exactly know yourself to a point, you really know yourself when you can look back on certain things or even times now and you say, you know, I was really nasty to this person. I remember that. And I remember thinking that it was justified. And now when I look back at it, I say, oh man, that sucks. And it takes a certain capacity for forgiving yourself of transgressing on others. But you carry the punishment. You carry the punishment for yourself until you know that you can miss the mark like that. You know? But it takes a lot of self-knowledge. Yeah, it is something, Dave. It's something that actually you can forgive yourself for that sort of thing, sure. But there are pieces of you. There are pieces of that. If you've, been guilty of doing something, it's not like you murdered someone. I mean, if you just, whatever the hell, behavior that makes you cringe now, there's something that stays with you. It stays with you. You know? And it really is necessary to shed that tether to this place there, because it's gonna no one knows what you're talking about. Yeah, it's really gonna stay with you, and you just have to articulate it to yourself. I always think that's what I was trying to articulate, Moonbeam, going back and talking to people and saying, like, yeah, I remember those days, man. That was lame, man. You know? And that's probably something that's probably helps shed that guilty tether. Because it can keep you here, and you don't want things that make your soul heavy. You want the opposite. You don't want to be heavy. You don't want to feel heavy. You don't want to have that heaviness. It's going to keep you here. You don't want that. It's necessary, but it is a skill. Knowing yourself is a very, very important skill. And a lot of times, just because there's everything in your education, everything your parents learned in their education and through media, same thing with you, everything you've learned through media is designed to stunt your growth and keep you immature. I'll just use that word. Immature and unevolved for as long as possible. It's truly what it does. That's called mind control. But we're not going to really worry too much about that. But anyway, it's something that is a real thing. You really gotta think about that. But it is a thing. See, I would rather talk about these things. I'd rather bounce these things. I'd rather do that here instead of reading, some madman from 200 years ago that was living out of a box, or he was just a rich guy sitting there writing. It reminds me of the questions and the I guess worries, I guess you just call it that, the modern era, or what's next. They're really important things to discuss. Because who the hell else no one discusses this like this. Do you see there's a big explosion, there's all the dust from the grain, it exploded like that. It's really too bad. You're like, oh my god, shut up. People don't. If you knew what really happened, you would freaking be out in the streets. Kidding me? So what's the point of talking news? What's the point of talking news? You'd go insane if you knew how it really was. You'd go insane. You'd be like this. You'd lose your mind. You'd lose your mind. What's the point of getting into news? You want to know the truth? You don't want to know the truth. You actually don't. That's the last thing that you want. I really don't know what it's from, but we have a yeah, fast friends. That we share the same magnetism to the real madness or the edge of reality. We both look forward and grasp to the edge of what is defined as reality in our own worlds, and look to see beyond that veil. And it makes us laugh. We don't do it because we're morbid or we're dark or we want to be scared or we do it because to see the bigness of something that even if you looked all around at 365 degrees, still wouldn't encompass the bigness of it in your own mind. That's funny. At the very least, and at the first starting point, it's funny. To look or to conceptualize something that's so far beyond and so much bigger or so much more insane or so much more frightening or intelligent or powerful than what you are familiar with is something. There's a hilarity in the bigness of it. I'm describing a Tool album. I was talking about this, and I don't even know if I mentioned it to you, Dave. Beauty in the dissonance, yeah. I was rambling a few nights ago about void grasping, and that's just another sort of thing of what I'm describing right now. Grasping into nothing and trying to pull out something that's beyond, that can only come from outside of your own mind. And it makes us laugh so hard. And when we talk about a blind God, a God that, what did I say? When we laugh about a blind God that doesn't know the before, doesn't know the behind him, only knows itself, its creation, and forward, makes us laugh. How there could be a God entity that is not familiar with his own creation by an entity of before and behind him. It makes us laugh. It's funny because it's wild. I just don't see how it doesn't go on in infinity, where there is another creator and another creator and another creator that goes on infinity. Perhaps it just that bigness of concept is what is at first, at the least, funny in its bigness. And we've been getting into that lately. And there's something that I just wish I could quote it exactly. The God that knows nothing of before. Something that surprised me. You know, Dave, it's funny. It was Hybe that reminded me of, might have been a sketch idea that I rambled off in Discord or on here, I don't remember, from a few years ago. Had me laughing for half an hour. It was, I don't know if it was from a dream, I actually don't remember. But it was the concept or a sketch, I don't know what you want to call it, of killing the world and the world goes to hell.